Good morning, everybody. Welcome to a beautiful, is it Wednesday? Wednesday here in Tokyo. I was up until 3 in the morning yesterday, finishing up this video, promoting it, getting it on the social media, and I woke up embarrassingly enough at 10, which means about 7 hours of sleep, which is enough. It's enough for this anyways, because we've got a wonderful director's premiere. And this is the way I'm going to be doing Premiere until YouTube makes Premiere fail safe. Premiere fails safe. It seems like there were some problems with it. But actually, I like this format where I get to talk to you directly, better than what chatting like this. So, thanks to the 140 people who were waiting for this. I'm really excited about that. We're going to get some more people online as the notifications go out. I'm excited. You can see here, I got a couple of things while people start to get online. First of all, the channel is inching closer to 1 million subscribers. It's very closer to 1 million subscribers. It's very exciting. We're at 937. That mark is so close. We have 130,000 people watched the last video last week, so thank you very much for that. The Ogasawara video was one that I was kind of worried that it wouldn't do very well because I launched it through Premiere, but actually the numbers are about the same as the Kyoto Restaurant Tour, which is mildly disappointing. It seems like I'm at the bottom of the algorithm, and then it goes like this. And I talk with some other creators, and they say the same thing. Sometimes the channels go up and the channels go down. And this, though, is the postcard that you'll get if you are in two for one. No. This is the postcard you'll get if you're in the Patreon. I want to say thank you to all of the people supporting me on Patreon. Patreon is where I get a lot of the support for doing the location shoots. Like, if I want to get on a Shinkansen and go to Osaka to film a scene, I can do that thanks to the support of Patreon. I appreciate it. This is for the Postcard Club. This is what you're getting. This is the thumbnail for Ogasawara. It should be in your mailbox soon. It's going. Actually, I have a big stack of about 190 postcards I'm sending to people today. So, it's going to be a busy day. All right. I hope you're doing well, because this is an ad. Well, you can't. You gotta pay. Should I skip my own ads? Yeah. Alright. So we're gonna do this the same way that we did it before. You guys can chat if you like, but I can't really see it. I'm gonna be talking about this. Actually, maybe I can't. Hold on a second. Give me a second. Yes, that's Okapi in the background. Yes, that's Okapi in the background. I want to thank people from Meetups giving me lots of really wonderful stuff. Eric, I believe from Las Vegas, gave me, it was Eric, they gave me the sign for Las Vegas that's blinking in the background. Thank you for that. That was really cool. Let's see here. Okay, so I'm going to be able to watch along with you and watch your chats on this broken iPhone. Yeah, that's the way it goes. That is valuable, very valuable. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to put this up on full screen now. Ah, that's beautiful. And we're going to talk about this video. Now, Kyoto is, it's like one of these must-go-to places when you come to Japan. There's really no place like it. It escaped a lot of the bombing in World War II. I believe the U.S. is... Like, when I studied Douglas MacArthur and the way he treated Japan after the war very humanely, despite all the stuff that had happened, you could see that it was a pretty good strategy. Also, America did not bomb Kyoto during the war. At least that's my understanding of it. Every time I make a statement, I learn that I was probably wrong. But Kyoto remains very pristine. A lot of the buildings, the wood buildings, are still intact, like Kyu Mizudera, Ginkakuji. They're not recreations at all, and that's pretty cool. Just trying to get your chats up on here. Kyoto also is a place where I don't like to go to that much anymore. I'll be honest with you. Kyoto is a place that I go to now because I have to film. I've been to Kyoto maybe like 30 times now. I've seen all 4 seasons like twice. And the thing is with Japan, Kyoto's a special city, don't get me wrong, but my feeling is that there are so many other places in Japan that are just as beautiful that I have not seen once. And my goal is to get to as many places as I can. That means I have to spend not as much time as I do in the same places. Although I love to revisit a lot of the same places, and Kyoto is one of those places. I find myself there more and more to film. And I think as time goes on, I'm going to be there a little bit less and less, because I'm going to be... Is this better? We still got... There's kind of a glare, that's why I put it here. Yeah, I'll be there less and less to show you new places like this, Ogasawara, which was just beautiful. If you haven't watched that video, definitely do that. Let's get on with it. Kyoto Restaurant Tour Experience. Gion Dining at Night. I wanted to do a Kyoto food episode for a long time. Not street food. Not street food, but like a real... I'm watching your comments here. Like a real food episode. Dining experience. This is the one I hope of many, because I'm in the future I'd like to do a foods channel. And we've talked about this on the because most of the videos that break out are food based, I think. So this is something that everybody seems to want, and this was kind of like an experiment in a way. But this company is called Magical Tour. Magical Tour, very, very nice people, and they were patient with me because I was filming. So I had to stop a couple of times. They say, just, guys, can you hold on a second? Can you hold on a second? I just want to get this shot. And the way I produce videos is that it's very different than the way that most vloggers would. I've seen vloggers, they hold the camera like this. They're holding it on a Joby stick or something. I don't do that. I can't. I need to be handheld, or I need to be on a tripod. Handheld, like, the Joby stick doesn't work for me. I'll just get a wider lens. I don't know, but for me the selfie thing is good for the Go channel because you cannot help it. You are your own cameraman. But with the main channel, I want it to be a work of art. Like, you know, master painters did not paint every day. Did they? Well, they did, but it was on one work. They were perfecting what they were doing. So that's what I was kind of doing with this. I spent a lot of time on this, and in fact, after this magical tour, this is some information I think that about this video. After I did this the first time, I went back about 10 days later because it wasn't enough. I couldn't film it all in one night. And I had to get insert shots, that hyperlapse going through Pontocho. There were a lot of places that I could not film to my satisfaction. Patreon, again, thank you Patreon, allowed me to go and refilm some of these places to make the video better. And that was really, really important. Like, what did I do in the retake? It was the interview with Mona at the end. I got a chance to do that. Also, her narration when she was talking about the food, I got her to narrate for me what the food was in her voice. So there were like several things that I did that on the second day that I couldn't do in one day. It's just not practical for the main channel to film quickly in one day. And this is why there are not a lot of videos. This is why people ask me over and over, John, put out more content. I want more. I said, that's awesome. I want you to want more. But that's what this Go channel is for, first of all, to help to fill a gap. And then second, because we do have some pretty good stories here. And then second, the main channel is also a slow bake, man. You know, you can't create really good stuff like this. Well, you can, but it's not to my satisfaction. I'm going to try to work on this. I think I have been a little bit. The problem is that I have so many ideas. I will never run out of ideas. And it takes a long time. I don't want to get to it. It takes a long time to kind of massage the idea and make it mature and flavorful. This one was flavorful. It really was. So the opening, just shots that I thought make you feel what this episode is about. We're working on ending this too, although it will never really die. Welcome to Kyoto at night. All right, I didn't use any music here. And the reason was that I just couldn't find anything that fit. And when you can't do that, you have to think either do the opposite, which doesn't fit the way I was speaking. I was speaking more quietly because we were in the neighborhood at night. But I just felt like let the voice be itself. So I didn't put
This
any
is the Gion area.
any
It's
music.
famous for having geisha and Michael walking the streets.
It's true.
Lots of history. The area hasn't changed much over the years. But it's also famous for having loads of restaurants. So many that it's hard to know where to go. I'm traveling alone, so I've decided to do something that I don't normally do. Take a tour.
I really didn't know a lot about Kyoto. I really don't know a lot about Gion. There's too many restaurants. Nobody can say, unless you've lived there for years, and I've lived in Tokyo, I really don't know anyone who could say, like, I know all these restaurants. So that's why, for me, the magical tour was a pretty cool idea because they have professionals who know where to go. Now, I don't like to go where all the tourists go. I kind of like to go that other way. If I see it's crowded with tourists, I'll usually walk around. But only one of the restaurants had a lot of tourists, and it was just because of the location. It was right at the entrance of Pontocho. But the other restaurant was deep, deep, deep into Gion, into the neighborhoods. Let's get into this. So
Kyoto is one of the most beautiful cities.
Some of these are recycled
shots. A combination of culture and tradition. You feel the history on the streets
You've
and
seen
the
these
spirituality
before.
at its temples and shrines.
You've seen these before. That one's new. That one's sort of new. That's new. New. Can you name these places? Kiyomizu-dera, Fushimi-inari.
Kyoto is in the center of Japan, pretty close to
I can't say thank you enough to Google for making maps like this, where
Osaka,
I
known as
can
the
bring
Kansai
maps
region.
like this. Thank you, Google, for these maps.
It was Japan's capital from 1180 to 1868.
Alright, big, big, big mistake, and I'm hearing it now from people. Kyoto's capital started in the 8th century, which is like 400 years, but I was using the internet, and I knew that it was like a 1,000 years old, and I said 11, so that started the period, alright? There was a period, but the entire city was a capital like 780 or 7, it's 1,000 years. So I got it wrong by 400 years. But like those are the generations that don't count, right? I mean, they're the Middle Ages. I mean, what were people really? Oh, right, they were building amazing temples and shrines and palaces. I forgot. They were important. Yeah, I'm sorry, Kyoto. I left off 400 years. But seriously, I tried to double check all the facts, but if I am this is why I don't like to rush the episodes. I'm already working on 3 new episodes right now. As there's like so many things going on. I might miss something, and I don't ever want to do that again. This is sort of a big deal when you miss with information and then you do it publicly. I can't do that anymore. But I've had people who checked this, okay, and they missed it. So I'm gonna have to find new people to check this and probably I will be going more to my patrons' Patreon and releasing it a day in advance there to get more people to give me more feedback. Because I really need it, I think.
And Gion has been its entertainment district for centuries,
It's true.
which sits on the scenic Kamo River.
Kamo River. Kevin and I were here, sitting
I
here.
met the magical trip tour guide at
Couple
6
months ago.
p.m. in the center of Gion by the bridge, with some other hungry visitors. The streets in the
I wanted, so I did I had this swipe. You see, the swipe, and I put some magical Tinkerbells in there, but there was a bring. It was too fast, so I slowed it down to about 65%. So it's just mature, just so it would just sweep in because when you look at the street, look at it. All of the first of all, everyone says how Kyoto is so crowded. I said that. But the reason why I wanted to do this at night was because if you remember Fushimi-inari, it was like empty at night, and everyone was going between like 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. because guidebooks said that was the official opening. It's like the guidebook companies in Australia and America and Europe didn't actually research it. Fushimi-inari is open 24 hours a day. You can go at any time, but they put in like 9 to 5 because those are the actual hours of the office. All right. So then you had all these tour buses here just killing the temple from these hours, and then I went after hours, and there's nobody there, and that's the best time. And this is Hanami Koji Street. Hanami Koji Street is it's beautiful all times of the day, but at night, and I'm talking like early evening and late evening, because in the middle of the evening it does get a little bit crowded. If you get off of the main Hanami Koji Street, this is right off of it actually. It is so peaceful, and you have these beautifully renovated tea houses. You can tell the tea houses are all made with wood, two stories high. All right, they have the blinders on these they're not bamboo, but these blinders on to keep the light out or to give some privacy to the diners inside. But it's quiet. The red lanterns, each lantern. This is a pretty interesting tidbit. I'll give it to you again in another section of the video.
The early
The
evening
streets are
stunning.
beautiful, though.
The Hanami Koji neighborhood looks like a movie set.
It does.
The area was once home to over 500 tea houses, which means geisha, or geiko in local terms.
Yeah, Kyoto. I actually didn't. I heard it before, but I didn't know it. Geisha is a term we use here in Tokyo. Most people in Kyoto they write geiko, and I was like, did I just save money on my car insurance for 15 minutes? It's Geico, right? The commercial. But geiko is the way that they say geisha, and the kanji for geisha, geiko is the same. One of them means like artistic lady, and the other one means like an artistic woman. So the geisha person, right? So it's kind of different. It's more into the lady part of it for the geiko. Well, Christopher, thank you very much. Go is better when you talk about your art. Thank you very much. Yeah. Well, there you go. I'm talking about art right now. This street and geisha or geiko. We're going to call them geiko from now on. I want you to get used to hearing geiko. Memoirs of a geiko. Should have been that should have been the title. Memoirs of a geiko, not a geisha, okay? Geiko. The streets are absolutely stunning here. And at any moment when you're in this area, Hanami Koji Street, Hanami Koji Dori, a geisha or a geiko, well, I say geisha, the geiko or maiko will just dart out, all right? They'll just exit. And then you're like, what? I didn't have my camera out. What? You gotta have your camera out. If you're a tourist and you're in Kyoto for the first time, and I've seen a lot of these, but I remember my first time, and it was pretty cool. And I never got a picture because I never had my camera out. But everyone has cell phones out, right? So just have it, just recording, and just be ready, because they just dart out and you miss it. And they're smart and they're fast. Geiko are fast. Maiko are fast because they don't want to be filmed. So, but they look so beautiful and stunning. Everyone wants to film them. So they usually stay on the sides of the streets, go and weave in between the people, and they hit you before you even know it. It's true.
You'll definitely get a glimpse of one on her way to an engagement at a tea house.
That's a maiko, not a geiko. I was wrong.
The first restaurant of the night was a 10-minute stroll. The first of 3 stops on this tour.
Alright, see the lanterns here? This is Hanami Koji Dori's lanterns, this neighborhood. Kyoto has several neighborhoods. Each neighborhood has their own original pattern for the lantern. So you can tell which neighborhood you're in by the lantern. I didn't want to give this information in the video because I think it's something that you would learn in the tour. So I didn't want to ruin the tour with the video, because they give some really good information. Like she told me about the neighborhood's history. But I didn't want to, I know people are going to be taking this tour because they watched the video, and I wanted to save some of the information. So I watched that scene and said, let's not put everything in. Although I wanted to. But it's interesting that each one of these lights, and every single one of the tea houses or restaurants have a light in front of it, sometimes even 2. But it represents, sometimes they don't have the name written on it in this chochin. These are lanterns, they're called chochin. They have the name on it, but sometimes not. But it always has the pattern of the neighborhood, like a crest. It's pretty cool.
The tour has a set menu, which makes it easy to know what you're eating. If it's your first time in Japan, this is certainly the perfect introduction. And after Kampai, the table is filled with food.
Wow, there is a lot of food on this table. That's kind of the neat thing, coming with a group of people. You get to try so many different kind of things. Loads of stuff. I'm not really sure it is, but we have an expert here to explain it all.
Do you know what this is?
Alright, she wasn't actually talking. I just had 2 seconds of video of her. So her mouth is moving, but she's now, the second day, she's narrating for me into my camera. It's totally separate. I just needed her voice to be clearer. And we just didn't have time on the day, so I had to go back to get this scene where she's describing the food. I don't, look, I use me because I couldn't afford to have an actor or hire another reporter. I like the production part of video, of YouTube. But I'm getting used to being in front of the camera. In a video like this, I'm not the expert. She is. She's the one who's in charge. This is her tour. She should be the one narrating and telling me what the food is, not me telling you that this is Yuba. I wanted her to do it, so I went back and got that. J. Ray writes in, you sound under the weather. I kind of just woke up. And I was talking a lot yesterday. I did a lot of narration. I'm still waking up. This is my morning voice, somewhat smoky. But thanks, Ray. You should do more of this sort of thing. Yeah, I think I'm going to be doing a director's cut of all of the videos. I think this is sort of fun. I might do it where you see the video clean and you see my picture-in-picture maybe, using a laptop. We'll see how we do this, but I wanted to get this one out because this video is brand new. Thank you, Nos, for promoting the Patreon. If you need sponsor money, I can help out. I love what you're doing. Oh, Jan Kun. Nos just wrote a comment. This is where the best support right now is joining the Postcard Club. We have almost 200 people signed up for the Postcard Club. That's how I kind of get the majority of my finances now, through that. And through the Super Chats and through ads in Google. And I'm trying to put less and less ads in the videos. Less and less as we get there, because I don't need more money, but as more income comes in, I can start taking away things that are gates for people to watch, because a creator wants people to watch. That's the story. See here, some great comments here. All right, let's get back to this. What's a crazy light in the background? That's from Eric. Eric lives in Las Vegas, and he gave me a Vegas sign.
This is yuba. Yuba means tough skin made of soybean.
Yuba is so delicate.
All right, some inside information. I just watched with Kanai Forrest Gump. All right. And I remember the time when he was explaining to Jenny all the places that he'd been. This is when you're moved, when Jenny is dying in Forrest Gump, and Forrest goes, but Jenny, you were with me. And he's saying how it's so beautiful, right? And he says to little Forrest, when he finds he has a son, he's so smart, And then I go, it's so soft. And I had Forrest Gump in my mind at the time when I was doing the narration, so I said, this Yuba is so soft. And so it kind of came off like that. When I was listening back to my narration, I was right here when I was narrating it, I was chuckling to myself. It sounded like Forrest Gump. I love that movie. Yeah. But Yuba is so soft.
This is obanzai. Obanzai is Kyoto-style homemade cooking, and it's always come with small portion to reflect seasonal ingredients.
Kyoto cuisine reflects freshness, so dishes often change with the season.
Karaage.
Yeah, the thing with there's a big difference. I'll wait until we get to the end of this restaurant, and I'm going to explain to you the difference between Kyoto and Tokyo. And I asked the guide about this, and I didn't use it because it was a little bit too much. I think too much information that took away from the tour. But I think I'll explain it to you. But Obanzai is pretty unique because you get like a lot of little dishes, and when people come to Japan for the first time, they want their own plate. They don't want to share. I know a lot of people do. I don't want to share. I want my own plate. But in Japan, the style is actually just kind of sharing. But at this restaurant, you can kind of didn't have to share. You got your own bonsai. Obanzai.
It's salmon and saba sashimi.
Saba is
This
maguro.
is fried iwashi.
Iwashi is sardine. Yeah.
Can you eat the tail?
Yeah.
So if it's been deep fried, you can pretty much eat everything,
I knew that.
right? Good.
I knew it was good. Miso Dengaku is, we introduced this in the Tokyo Street Food episode in Shibamata a couple of years ago, but this was so good. I didn't get her to narrate this. This is the problem. I wanted to have her. This is Miso Dengaku. It's alright. A glutinous potato with miso paste. I'll tell you. Okay, hold on a second. Tabete kudasai.
It's a
Please
lot of fun
eat.
to share the night in a Japanese-style tatami room.
Alright. One sort of annoying thing. One of the girls had this really not good laugh, and it was hard to edit it out because I became hypnotized by it, like ha ha ha. There's nothing wrong with that. People laugh when they feel good, and that means that she feels good. But every time I spoke, it was in the background, like this. I had to edit that out. Thankfully, I usually take 2 takes of something, so I could piece it together where she wasn't laughing. Like, she was just laughing at me. Like, what was I doing?
And this was just the start. Before moving on, we had a look around this scenic neighborhood.
Okay, I can tell you. Oh yeah, the difference between Kyoto food and Tokyo food. Now, this comes from Mona. All right, this comes from Mona or Guy. This is all inside baseball, inside game. So, Kyoto's cuisine. Kyoto is where there's a lot of aristocrats. This is where there are a lot of rich people. And Tokyo was a new capital in Edo. It was a place where they were building the capital. It's always been a place of new buildings, and the aristocrats had things already built. Because Kyoto was the old capital, and Tokyo was the new capital. So Tokyo's cuisine, Edo's cuisine, is saltier. It's more shoppai, saltier. And the reason why is because of the workers needed more salt because of all the sweat. The salt was what they wanted in their diets. So even today you have shoyu ramen, you have soy sauce ramen, you have a lot of soy sauce based foods. That's Tokyo. It's because there's a lot of working class people at the time, and the working class people in Tokyo, I guess, hundreds of years ago, liked shoppai, salty foods. Kyoto's food is more seasonal. It's fresher, more vegetables, tofu, delicate, softness, it's refinement. This is why when you think of a gourmet city, I think of Osaka actually, because that's more my style, but for fine dining, Kyoto. Now Tokyo can, because in the modern age, Tokyo can claim we got really good modern. We do here, but Kyoto has always been really, really good with fresh seasonal ingredients. This is what the aristocrats wanted, and it's reflected in their cuisine today. So if you want kaiseki ryori, Kyoto would be a great place to do it. Although you can do it anywhere in Japan, but historically, Kyoto has always been a place of great refinement as a result of having that the emperor there, a lot of the rich people were there, and they wanted the best of life, of things. And that's why you can have that reflected in the food. So, yeah, that's the difference between the cuisines. I thought it's interesting. I might introduce this in another video.
One of the advantages to having a guide is that they can answer your questions about its history.
Yeah.
What's this street?
This is called Hanamikoji Street, which is famous for Maiko and Geiko and tea houses. Tea houses is a place where you can have fun and drink and dinner with Maiko and Geiko. Actually, in the end of Edo era, which is 150 years ago, big fire happened around here, and all buildings were burned down. But people remain the building, and they still keep the shape still now.
She said remade. All right. It's hard for. I'm working on the subtitles, so the subtitles will be in English, so a lot of people might not understand exactly what she's saying. I think I tried to get the mic as close, but sometimes it's just hard. She's not a native speaker. That's okay. When you're with her, it's very easy to understand, but in a video setting, this is when native speakers of English it's easier to understand. Because it's a little bit clearer. It's not her fault, but I'm going to put in the subtitles if you didn't understand it. I had trouble understanding some of the stuff as well. But when I was with her, I understood what she meant. They kind of remade the buildings exactly like this after the fire. So they're in still pretty good shape after 150 years, But you know, before that, they were made with different materials. So this neighborhood, Hanami Kojidori, is beautiful. Highly recommend walking around there. And if you're part of the tour, you definitely get to see that too. Yeah, the inside knowledge was pretty valuable. Now I kind of had researched this, so I sort of knew. I don't know everything, but it was good to have her with me, and I didn't have to think about the history because I love to know about the background of the places that I visit, and I think you do too, which is why I added into the videos. But it was great that Mona could introduce things like this to me about the lanterns, about the street, about the fire, about the history, about the neighborhoods.
Just walking around looking at the tea house exteriors.
She does have a beautiful voice.
Have your camera ready because geiko are fast. She darted out for a second. If you want a picture, you have to be ready at all times in this neighborhood.
Exactly.
The next restaurant.
All right. So I use that music. That's from the Japanese. That music comes from the Japanese sumo mascot sumo tournament from the Japanese mascots episode from about 2 years ago. There's one where the mascots are sumo wrestling each other. Awesome scene. I don't think a lot of people have seen that episode, but I used the music for that because it had this Japanese feel to it. Well, Asian. I think it's maybe not as Japanese as I think. But when the geishas and the Maiko dart out, it's just for an instant, just like that. You're like, what? Because she couldn't stay along the fringe. She had to dart in the middle, and everyone's like, what? What did that just happen? I thought it was pretty funny. That's pretty funny.
Was across the Kamo River.
You've heard this music
This
before,
neighborhood
too.
is called Pontocho, and it's in a narrow alley with one restaurant after the other.
I could go on and on with that. I could have gone on. That's only half of Pontocho, actually. That's only half. All right? I just want to put that out there. The thing with this is it's so crowded. When you do a hyperlapse, when you do a video like this, you have to go straight. You can't move the camera up and down or left and right. You have to take the people through a tunnel. And I did this like 5 times. I did it with the big camera on a gimbal, and I did it with the new iPhone. But the new iPhone XS, I couldn't turn off the stabilizer. So the stabilizer with this didn't work well. So I had to take that with my iPhone. I'm right now using the iPhone 7 Plus. So I had to take the hyperlapse with the iPhone 7 Plus because it works better with the gimbal. It doesn't have the stabilizer countering the balance. So the first hyperlapse with the new iPhone XS, it was going like this because the in-body stabilization of the camera in the iPhone was working against the gimbal, so it would counter it, and so it would still look like this. But this camera worked. It was okay. Even though people were coming left and right at me, and I had to go like this a little bit, I stayed on target. You know, I stayed on straight. So it came out pretty good. This restaurant, Kyoto Gaten, I took some pictures on Instagram, so you probably have seen it before. It's right at the entrance of Pontocho. This is the sign that you saw us walk into. So we just whoosh, 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 just like this. Tons and tons of foreign people in there because it has an English menu. It says sake down here. You see English menu right at the door. It looks cool. The exterior looks beautiful. It's clean. It's got sake and beer, craft beer right outside. So the guys are gonna go yes. And the inside, the decorations are incredible. I mean, I could see why foreign tourists would go in there, and that turns off some Japanese locals. But the food is also good. Looks good.
The one we went into had a really incredible interior. Once again, we had it easy, with Mona ordering a lot of the food from the set menu. Japanese restaurants like this are called izakaya and famous for big menus.
It's good. Tempura. Kampachi.
This is an
Oh man, I kind of wish. Alright, inside, here's the story. Alright, this is the story on this episode. Alright, I spent 2 days in Kyoto. So the tour is the tour. So this is the tour. After the tour, it was just too late. It was like 10 p.m. or something. And I was just so tired, so I went to bed. I stayed at a hotel, at the Apple Hotel at Kyoto Station, in front of the station. In the morning, I did the video of Kyoto Tower. Is it worth it? You remember? It's like from a few weeks ago. And then in the evening at 5 p.m., I went back to the restaurant. This is day 2, all right, of the same trip. And I did that to get B-roll and insert shots. And I went back to the restaurant and I said, can I get a few of the dishes from last night? This is a true story. Can I get a few of the dishes from last night to film for insert shots? Because I want to do it really beautiful with the light. I have this. I always travel now with this portable light. This is a Photo Diox light where I can change the color of the light to make it makes food look really good. Thank you, Patreon. This is what I do with your money, Patreon. I buy stuff like that. Thank you. And then, so I got these beautiful, and I had the light on this. You can see the reflection from the light. It was really good. Now, I asked for this from the manager. Beautiful, very nice person. I think her name was Tanaka-san. And she was pretty young, too. And then she came out. And I guess we'd made a pretty good impression, and I tried to make friends with everybody because it's good to make friends. And also, you never know when you need people's help. So you always treat people with respect. It's karma. You never know when they're going to contact you with an opportunity or you're going to need their help or vice versa. If they need help, it's nice to be able to help good people too. So this came. It was a table filled with food. And I was just looking at it like, what? And it just kept coming out. I just wanted 2-3 things. No. We got like 10 things. It seemed like 20 to me. And I wasn't in, and here's the sad part, guys. I didn't eat any of it. True story, I didn't have time. As soon as I finished this, I didn't even eat this tempura wagyu. This is tempura wagyu. Tempura wagyu! Who doesn't not eat that? It's in front of you, and I didn't eat it because I didn't have time. And the purpose of this was just to film it. But I'm pretty sure somebody ate it somewhere. Somebody ate this, but it just sat there, and I could not have eaten it myself.
Example of the full scope of what's available.
Ikura salmon. Oh, this looks so beautiful. This tempura with the seaweed flakes in it. Miso on top of eggplant tempura. Ah, half-boiled egg. What? I gotta turn the brightness down. You can see it better. Do you see that slightly congealed half-boiled egg? It's like a Scotch egg, I guess you would call it. It's been breaded. So it's a half-boiled egg. It's been breaded and then tempura, and then deep fried, and then it comes to you like this. And you cut it yourself with your chopsticks, but it's always really nasty. So I asked the chef, can you do it real pretty? He goes, hi. And he cut it, and he did it like this. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's what I want. So it was just beautiful. You can see the light just reflecting off of the congealed just a little bit to give it a little bit of personality so you can see some depth to it.
The food is delicious, and if you're not sure what...
How did I not eat that? How did I not eat that?
What it is, the Magical Tour Trip Guide can explain it to you.
I gotta go back. This was good too. This is a little bit of miso with meat on top of eggplant tempura. And it's so good. Now, the Magical Tour Kyoto, the foodie tour that I was on, it has a set menu. So basically, you're going to be really full at the end of the night, and I think there's drinks included in this tour. The downside is that I'm a curious person, and I like to eat a lot of new things. And the tour says that they have this set menu, but you can order off the menu, but it costs extra. And that's cool. I like that. You know, you can order, and it might create chaos with the bill, but I think it works out okay. I ordered a lot of extra. I ordered this sukiyaki.
And I ordered a few things that weren't on the...
The sukiyaki was not on the menu, but actually, because I was filming, the manager brought it over. I was kind of embarrassed, but I was like, well, this isn't part of the tour, but I'm gonna film it anyways because it looks so good.
That menu.
I think that was Wagyu on there. Oh, man. And they didn't know what they were eating. I know what tempura is, but Mona was explaining everything, like all the food to them about what the vegetables are, what tempura is, like the history of everything, how you dip it in the sauce. I'm like separated from the group because I'm also filming. Now this is a family and they're very nice, but I've also kind of had my own thing going on here. You know, I'm filming sometimes, but they were very happy to be in the video.
The things that struck me was this matcha beer. That deep green color catching the eye.
I know Caroline, who is a matcha aficionado, is watching this going, yeah, I can do that. This matcha beer was so good. It was, I don't know. I guess they just put matcha powder in the beer, and it just seems to work out pretty good. It gives it this green, you see this, like this green, it looks like a St. Patrick's beer, but there's not food coloring. It's matcha. It's real. And you can taste the freshness of the matcha powder in it.
It smells like matcha.
Yeah.
And it definitely tastes like it.
It did.
An interesting
You can see it when I lift the glass up, the powder on the bottom.
compliment to the beer.
And that's not cheap, by the way.
Both are bitter. Mona introduced some Japanese drinking games to us as well.
Yeah, I didn't want to play the game. I don't play games when I'm eating. I guess if you're drinking, maybe, but I'm eating. Look, I'm focused on this sukiyaki down here. I was not focused on the game. They said, we're going to play a game. I'm like, all right, good for you. You play your games. You do your thing. I might clap, you know, because the video. But I'm going to finish this beer and I'm going to eat everything you don't eat. So I did this thing, and when they were done, I turned right back to my sukiyaki. All right, yeah. I just wanted to eat.
Kyoto's tea houses and restaurants are very compact. And then
So, this is an interesting shot. I did the hyperlapse right here, holding it like here, basically because the camera was so, I mean, it gets heavy after a while, even though it's light, it gets heavy after some time. But the thing which makes Pontocho is that it's a narrow alley. You can see only two people can get by, so there's right and there's a left. And then people will walk with their husband or wife or in groups, and it's hard to get around people. So down on eye level is interesting, but it's more interesting if you go a little bit higher, I found, because the roofs, and this is like between the second and the first floor, because the roofs and the second floor is where the personality of the alley kind of lies. It's really beautiful up there. You have some phone lines and power lines up there.
the next place was deep in an alley.
And then there's the alleys off of the alleys.
It's a Kyoto sake bar.
And this is a brand new place. It's more like a modern sake bar because it doesn't have the wood paneling and the darker interior, which is what Kyoto is famous for, the low lighting. This one is more, and you can see up here, they should probably put something around there, but like you can see like the cups and the paper towels and stuff. I couldn't blur that out.
Kyoto is the second
It's
biggest
fine.
producer of Japanese sake, and that means there's a lot to try.
The guy was young, but he's extremely knowledgeable about sake.
我が家付けの方この伏見のお酒です。これはほんまに飲みやすい、もういいお酒ってお米の甘みが出るお酒。アナゼっていうお酒で、これはちょっと甘めでまったりしたお酒。玉川、これは作ってるのが外国の方でイギリス人の方なんで香りの強いお酒になってます。
Yeah, you can actually, if you search Tamagawa Kyoto sake, you'll come up with the story of the English guy. There's an English guy who's brewing sake in Kyoto. That's pretty cool. The famous area for sake is Fushimi, and it's sort of near Fushimi Inari, I believe. And there's a lot of sake brewers down there because the water is good. Kyoto's water is although it's a city, it's still a very clean city. The center is not that clean because there's a lot of traffic. But outside, if you go to the west of Kyoto and Arashiyama, you can see it's quieter. It's not polluted, and they have really good, clear water. So they have good sake.
This place has a sampler of different sake.
And again, like Kyoto is a place of aristocrats. They've been refining and refining and refining the taste because that's the taste that they want. So the sake
We
is
picked
good.
the top 3 recommended from the master.
I like the style. 3 glasses. Kanpai. I didn't want to get tipsy for the episode, but you cannot not. You sort of have to get a little tipsy. There's like no way around it. Yeah. I like the modern geisha in the background.
It really was a great way to end the night. Not only was I full, I may have been a little tipsy too. The emphasis on this tour is food though, and drinking is optional. And my tour experience? It was a lot of fun. I was curious why Mona wanted to be a guide. It had to be more than just eating and drinking a lot, right?
You can have
This is the second time I went back to Kyoto to film this, and I asked her to wear the exact same thing as the first day, so there's some continuance and continuity to the video. And I wore the same thing sort of, although I was having a better hair day.
fun as if you were spending time with your friends. I want you to enjoy the time in Kyoto, not as tourists, but as local people. And I'm pretty sure that I can take you anywhere you want. I can answer anything. I can be your best friend, even if you come here by yourself. Even if you're a traveler, you came here by family or with your friends. We can make another friend in here.
She was really good with the interviews. I think we did this a few times, and the first time Mona did the interview, I think she was really tight. And one of the things with doing this job is that not everybody is used to talking to a camera. Not everybody's used to being in front of a camera, and they get nervous. And I was the same way when I started too. It takes time. Even today, I'm not 100% like, why am I talking to this camera? This is literally a machine, but now I can feel that you are on the other side. So I think that we did this a few times, and I wasn't really recording. I knew that you have to coach people and encourage them, and I said, look, you know what? You have things that you want to say. She had things that she wanted to say, and I guess the Magical Tour had wanted to do things a certain way, but nobody likes commercials. And I said, look, you know what? I want you to remember what you said, but then I want you to now delete everything. I want you to delete everything because you already memorized it. I want you to delete it now. And now I want you just to speak from the heart. Why do you really want to be a guide? What do you feel? What's your passion when you do become a guide? I mean, just explain from here, not from here. And then the interview she gave the fourth time was so good. It was so natural. And you could see, and this is what I wanted to show. This is more important than the words. This is what I think a lot of people don't understand. It's not just the words. People listen to the words. It's the way you say them sometimes. It's the way you can feel what you're saying, and then you can transmit that, because we're humans. People feel connections to other humans. They don't feel connection to words. They feel the connection to the person saying the word. All right? At least that's how I feel. And I told Mona, look, just relax, because you're an awesome person. You're a nice person. I liked spending time with her because of who she was, and that's what I wanted that feeling to come across. And when she said, look, I can be your best friend, I'm like, oh, yeah. You know, because I'm coming like all the way from Tokyo, some people from all the way around the world, and then you got like a best friend in Kyoto. I really like that, and that's the way she really feels too. I don't think they make a lot of money doing this. I think they do it because they want to. They want people to experience. They want to share their own culture, I think. And that's the feeling I got when Mona was doing this. I felt like she wanted to share her, because she's from Kyoto originally. I would think she wanted to share her culture with people visiting Japan. I thought that was cool. I like that, and it came out the fourth time we did the interview.
So the Magical Trip Tour in Kyoto is a unique way to get inside information and learn about Kyoto. And the food is a gateway into learning Japanese culture. Having a good guide is really essential to that experience. So I was really happy with tonight. I loved the food. I loved the new friends that I made. And I'm going to remember this for a long time.
Food brings people together.
All right. I did kind of feel fake there, because I did this maybe 7 times. Because someone was honking a horn, or some bad tourists in the background were making faces in the background at me. So I was like, oh, that was great. And I watched it back, and yeah, it was ruined. Somebody, you have to get it. You have to get. Although those versions are kind of funny, they might be in the blooper reel. But they're, like, if someone honks the horn, it just cuts the music off a little bit in the background because they added music in there. So I think I did that like 5 times. Yeah, it's hard because, again, like, the secret is when I did the live show for Japanese TV. Whenever I do live things, I've got like things information that I've memorized that I want to say, that I have to talk about. And then I memorize it where it's like really deep in your brain. And then when it starts, you have to forget it. And then you have to speak from here. And if you memorize the information, what you memorize will come out naturally through it. And then people will connect with what you're saying. If you just speak and you read a memorized script, nobody will ever really believe and feel the words. And I know this from experience because if you watch my earlier work, I kind of tried to memorize it. Same with NHK, because we get a script and they kind of sometimes are very not flexible with it. So, especially because they're making an episode where the timing is important. Yeah? They don't have a limit. They have a limited amount of time. If the show's 28 minutes long, you only have, this scene has to be 30 seconds. This scene has to be 15 seconds. That's the way they cut it. With this, it's an open format. So I can just speak more from the heart, and this is why YouTube is better than This is why YouTube is better than TV, because there's no time limit, and if you have a show that's a set amount of time, you have to cut it to that. That means that everything is too scripted. And in this, oh man, and I'm feeling more free with this now, and feel like I might be getting better and better. But I memorize it, and then I can speak using the information that you need from here, and not from here. And then that's where people connect with you. I don't know. That's sort of what I take from it.
And eating out in Kyoto is a really special experience.
Yeah.
You can feel the history in each area and in each dish. And as we say at the end of every meal in Japan,
Yeah, as we say at the end of each meal, hit the like button and subscribe to this live stream. Come on! Please go back and leave a comment on this video. If you're watching this, please go back and just leave a comment about what was your favorite food, what was something in it that you'd like to, something that I should add if I do another food tour, anything. Please go back and leave a comment and click the like button. Gochiso sama deshita. Say that with me. This is one of the most important words that a lot of people don't say, and there's a cultural reason. 2 of them. I'll say it one more time.
Gochiso-sama deshita.
Hold on.
It was a real feast.
Let's go back.
Each dish. And as we say at the end of every meal in Japan, Gochiso-sama deshita.
We say, everyone in Japan says this. You say this if somebody treats you to a dinner, they buy it for you, or if the chef is there and saying, arigatou gozaimashita, you can say to them, Gochiso-sama deshita. That means it was a real feast. It was an amazing meal. It's one of the most, for foodies, if you like food and you watch a lot of food videos, this too, itadakimasu, when you start the meal, I always say this because when you break the chopsticks, for itadakimasu, itadakimasu, and gochiso-sama desu, gochiso-sama deshita, gochiso-sama deshita, gochiso-sama deshita. This is important to say. And if you say it at the end of every meal to somebody who treated you, if they paid for you, or if the chef is there, or when you leave the restaurant, gochiso-sama deshita, it sounds like you know what you're talking about, okay? All right? So, yeah, it's a good one to learn. Arigatou gozaimashita, itadakimasu, gochiso-sama deshita. You're welcome, doitashimashite. I don't hear that much. People don't say doitashimashite so much. But doitashimashite was the one I said like a million times to try to say it properly, because when I first came to Japan 20 years ago, I'm like, doitashi, what? So you gotta say it 100 times, and then when you arrive, you're like, doitashimashite. It just like sticks in your head. Gochiso-sama deshita. You can say it real fast, right? It's cool. So that's what cool Japanese, you could say, like, gochiso-sama deshita. You just whip it out. Whoosh. Yeah, that's when you know it. You've been, if this is your second trip to Japan, you get no excuse. You better be able to say itadakimasu and gochiso-sama deshita if you're second time. First time, you get a pass. Second time, gochiso-sama deshita, otsukare-sama deshita. Yeah. I'm talking to Bob's tank there. Otsukare-sama deshita. Yeah. Otsukare-sama. Like, thanks for the hard work. These are words that are specifically in Japan. And look, at the end of a meal in America, we do not say, it was a really wonderful feast. You know, like, it was a great meal. Nobody really says that. They'll just say thanks or it was good. Gochiso sama deshita is just a cultural word that has such a deep meaning that shows an appreciation of thanks that's deeper than what we have in English. Itadakimasu is like saying grace, but even deeper. It's a deep appreciation and a connection to the food and giving thanks for that. This is why people say it before they start and after they finish. They say gochiso sama deshita. It's just sort of bookends to a meal. And culturally, it's deeper than what the translation in English. The words in Japanese are deeper meanings to the Japanese than the translation is and what they mean to us in English. That's important for you to know that. That's why learning some of the cultural Japanese words like otsukare-sama deshita is important. Yeah. And I'm very passionate about this. That's why I'm speaking like this. Let's see here. So I will take your questions.
It was a real feast. Check out the description for more information on Kyoto and touring Gion's restaurants.
Yeah, I put the information in the description. The tour right now, I think it's $100, but they've marked it down, so it's discounted. And you can see even marked even further down sometimes. $90, I think 90 or 85 or $90. For the amount of food that we got and to see 3 restaurants in a night, I think that's a steal, actually. So there's a set menu, but I felt full from the set menu, but I also ordered off of the set menu, and it was pretty happy. The thing is, you know what? If you're there in Kyoto for a few days and you like the restaurant, you can always go back as well. You don't have to eat all the food in one sitting. You can always go back. But it was about $90. I gotta say thank you to the Magical Trip tour. They were really, really helpful in making this video, and it was fun. I had a lot of fun, and I got a chance to introduce some Kyoto food, which was my purpose, and show you a little bit about the dining and what the atmosphere is like in Gion, because this is where you want to eat. This is where the restaurant. I will take your questions for the next couple of minutes. I really appreciate you guys hanging in there, watching this episode. How long does the tour last? It's about 3 hours. We met at 6 p.m. and the tour went on till 9, but it went on till like 10:30 for me. But I was stopping to film, and I kind of felt bad for Mona, but you know, it was a video, right? So I kind of stopped to film a lot, so it went on a little bit longer for us. But it's usually 3 to 9. Are there doggy bags? Spectre 1066, excellent question. Doggy bags in Japan? No. I've never ever in my entire life seen doggy bags. You know why? In Japan, you don't order more than you need, and you finish what you have. You don't waste the food. Second, Japanese food doesn't have like a second life, all right? It's served fresh. In Kyoto, asking for a doggy bag is like saying, your food is good enough to eat tomorrow. No, not in Kyoto. Your food is good enough to give to a dog. No, not in Kyoto. You order what you eat, and if you want it to take out, that's okay, but not what you ordered. You get it made fresh again. This is just the Japanese way. Doggy bags are not popular because Americans... I'm not saying this negative, this isn't a fault of it. I actually like it. I like being able to having food to take home, which I can make 2 meals out of it. But volume is not something that Japan is famous for. You eat what you need. This is why there's not a lot of super big people in Japan. We don't eat more than we need. We don't throw away food that we don't eat. Mottainai, it's like a waste. It's something ingrained into the culture of Japan. So there's no doggy bags. You can try to ask, but I wouldn't. But they might. I've seen doggy bags in Japan only once and only once. Colin says only. What was your favorite part of the tour? Megan Frank writes in, what are the favorite part of the tour? Gosh. I liked it was the moments that I didn't film. All right? I think this is just obvious. Now I'm talking from here now, all right? Not about the video. There are moments, and I was with some really nice people. And if I always travel alone, almost exclusively. I don't have a cameraman for most of my shoots. I do this stuff myself. And it can get lonely out there. But it was really, really nice to have people to talk to and to say kampai and drink and not doing it on film. I mean, we did kampai on film, I think, twice. But there are just times like we're kampai, where are you from? And I got to hear stories from each person about their travels in Japan, and just like talk about food as well, and talk about Kyoto and places we'd been and experiences. Got away from politics and job and religion and all that stuff, and just talk about food and location, and we all had a passion for traveling in Japan. Those are the best parts. I think tours like this for me are good. I should do more. Now that I'm married, I don't have to go out. Has to come out with me, so I can drag her out. But she likes it. I mean, it's a date. Right? But on these kinds of on travel tours, it's nice to meet new people, and usually the people with the same passions that you have, which is food. A foodie tour, people like food, so you're paying also, I think, for this event, which brings people together. And I love the history. There's some things that I didn't know, like the lanterns, that the Chochin, each neighborhood has its own lantern. And I'd been living in Japan for 20 years and had no idea about that. So that was like, what? And then I started walking around in Kyoto and I noticed it. I'm like, yeah, this is different. And that was pretty cool with the tour. And the way that, I guess, Mona and all the tour guides will see you off until the end. The ending where she's waiting to say goodbye. I like that, you know. It wasn't just goodbye. She sees you off to the station, and I like that too. That was pretty cool. It's a good question. John, for a guy not used to ramen or any Japanese dishes, what do you recommend? Not used to. Tempura is a pretty good start. Everybody likes deep fried anything, right? Tempura is a pretty safe bet. And if you're a vegetarian, they might be cooking. Most of the oil is used for non-meat dishes or maybe seafood. I mean, there's no pork or beef. They have like meat tempura. You can check the restaurant, because if you're vegan, that's another thing. But most of the oil is used for vegetables, and tempura is a safe one for everybody. I don't know a meat eater that doesn't like tempura. I like meat too, but tempura is pretty good. Tendon, which is tempura on a bowl of rice. Tempura is always safe for everybody. What else is there that's good? Okonomiyaki is a Japanese pizza. That's always pretty good. Japanese pancake, they call it. There's so many things. If you're not used to Japanese food, just try Wagyu steak, because the sauces that come with it are Japanese. And then you get into sukiyaki. I don't know. For me, I've been here too long to maybe answer this. But to me, I don't see Japanese food as Japanese food. I see it as food now. That's the funny thing, right? And I see cheeseburgers as food. I just see it all as food. I've traveled too much. This is the thing with like the Food Ranger who travels all over the place, and Mike Chen. Like I wonder if they see it as now the ethnic background of the food or where it comes from, or they just eat so much of it that it's just now food, right? And it's the spices and a little bit of extra things that go in there. For me, I see Japanese food as a little bit saltier, especially in Tokyo, as I said. But it's just food to me now. Everything is good. Ramen is good. Shabu shabu is great. Arnold is right. Shabu shabu is great. Tempura wagyu, delicious. You know, you don't even have to put an exclamation point on it. Kobe, I went to Kobe and had KFC. What? 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 Why? Well, I can see that. Don't be afraid. Bacon. I never see bacon on any shows. Bacon is a food of the gods. Look, there are many foods of the gods. They're different gods, I think. Like, there are different areas. God eats Japanese food in Japan, I think. So bacon is a Western food, first of all. They do have pork that looks like bacon, but it's not cured in the same way that bacon is, which is why bacon has that salty taste. It's been cured. So they have bacon in Japan, but it's different. And there's so many other things that have umami. Umami is that sixth taste, right? The upper level, the next level, which probably comes from MSG, but it's a different level, right? It's a saltiness, maybe. I don't know. But that umami is in so much other food than just bacon. If you're just eating bacon, when you come to Japan, you're going to discover that there's another level too. And this is why people come back to Japan over and over and over again. There's another gear to food that you didn't know about. This is what I tell my American friends. When you come here and you eat, get away from McDonald's and KFC and fast food, and then you discover another level. But you have to be adventurous enough to take the step to get to that next level. It's like the penitent man, right? In Indiana Jones, The Last Crusade, only the penitent man will pass. You just humble yourself, and you'll be able to get to the next level. You have to say, look, I don't know what the heck this is, but I'm going to try it and take that leap of faith, and then you're going to leap to the next level, which is incredible. It's incredible. Japanese food is just incredible. Even natto is incredible. But bacon, it's bacon. Bacon is one food. There's a million foods. But bacon is bacon. But I would say bacon, though, is not even in my top 10 anymore, because there's just too many other good foods. Seriously. Japanese sandwiches are good. Katsudon, the tonkatsu sando. Katsu sando is so good. Would you consider visiting a Nobata or a robot taiyaki? I don't even know what this is. I would consider it. I consider everything, Nosh, of course. I consider everything. Where will you be filming next, John? Great question, and this is a good one to end on. I'll be filming next in, Oita Prefecture. Oita is down in Kyushu, so I'll be going down to Kyushu at the end of this month. I got a lot of stuff that I still got to finish up here. There's a lot of videos that I have to edit. I might go down to Osaka for a day to film a scene and to meet up with my friend Kevin down there. Yeah, I want to try to get around. I'd love to go up to Tohoku for the autumn to see the leaves, but I don't think I'm going to have enough time. A couple of things here. Postcards, if you want one. Patreon, go on. The supporters there will be getting this beautiful Ogasawara thumbnail postcard, which is how I support the show. The second thing is that I'm going to be traveling with Kanai. We're going around the world on a trip. It was only a little bit more expensive, like literally, it was weird, than flying round trip from Tokyo to New York. Instead, I'm flying Tokyo, Sri Lanka, India, Munich, Paris, Iceland, New York, Tokyo. And this ended up being just a little bit more expensive. And I'm like, well, let's just do it this way, Kanai. It's only like a few $100s more. She's like, okay. So we're going to go around the world and meet up with people in India, in Europe, in Sri Lanka, in Iceland. Do we have viewers in Iceland? I don't know. We're going to meet up in Iceland and then in New York and maybe in Montreal. I'm not sure. But maybe in Montreal between Christmas and New Year. It's possible that we go up there for a quick visit. And then we're back in Tokyo. By the way, I'm doing a meetup with Life Where I'm From, Greg. Do you guys know the show? Awesome show. It's one of the shows that I subscribe to, and I subscribe to like a handful of shows. Greg's show is one of the best in Japan. He puts a lot of love in his episodes, and you can see it in his production quality. And he does it all himself, unlike a lot of other YouTubers. And there's nothing wrong with that, but he still does it himself. And I have a lot of respect for his production know-how and the way he tells a story. I'm gonna meeting with him, and I've met him several times already. It's not like the first time. Meeting with him tomorrow. So we're gonna have a live stream at Ameyoko, where we ate the cheese. If you want to eat, if you're in Japan, you're in Tokyo, come and meet us, and we're gonna eat the cheese. We're gonna cut the cheese together. We're gonna cut the cheese tomorrow in Ameyoko at 11 a.m. The event page is on Facebook. I don't use by the way, I don't use Facebook a lot. Don't message me on Facebook and expect a response. I'm just saying that right now. I do not use Facebook much. Alright? But I will use my Only in Japan Facebook, but I don't use my private Facebook anymore. So yeah, there's that. But if you message me on the Facebook message, I might get it better. The event is here, the event page. Let's see if I can make it bigger. This is the event page. I'm going to put up a custom banner today. Thursday, 11 a.m. Be there with Life Where I'm From, Greg, and enjoy some street food, and you can ask some questions. We'll take a group photo. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think I'm going to be live streaming. Tomorrow's going to be cloudy. about 15 to 20 degrees Celsius, which is like 60, 65 degrees, nice and comfortable. 6 people going, it's a little bit weak, but 23 people interested, that's pretty good. You don't want too many people going because I want to have more chance to talk with people. If there's too many people there, it's hard to do that. So I'm looking forward to meeting Diamos, Steve, Xavier, Brad, Matt, and Ali. So that's going to be really awesome. And then there's a bunch of people here that are interested. So I really do hope to meet you as well. It's going to be really cool to share some. We're going to eat that cheese. I've been thinking about the cheese. I'm addicted to the cheese. So you're going to eat the cheese. Ethan, Dan, Christian, Andrew, I'd love to see you there. This is Drew. I can't, but Drew, you can't be live streaming this if you do come. This is our meetup. Okay. So you can't be, I don't want to live stream you live streaming, buddy. But you can come, but I don't want like live streaming. It's just too much. I want to focus on our audience. That's why it's a only in Japan meetup with Greg and life where I'm from. So, but I'd love to see. Drew is a really cool guy. Super nice. And he was in the last Amiyoko video that we did. Thanks, guys. This is fun. I like doing this a lot better than doing the premieres because it goes on for 70 minutes. I'm going to go eat breakfast now, and then I got to get back to work. I got a stack of... Wait, I'll show it to you. I got a stack of postcards. I got a stack of postcards. Look, this is going out. If you're a Patreon supporter, this is coming to you. I hope it comes to you in this beautiful... It is a very thicker paper, but it's coming to you, and I'm sending these all out at the Tokyo Post Office today. So it's on the way. Thank you. I know in Canada they have a postal strike, so I hope it gets to you in time. One of the packages didn't make it yet, but thank you for the support on Patreon. Nosh has been putting the link in the Patreon. I really do appreciate the support there because that's how I'm able to do what I do for a living because of that support there. So thank you all. If you have a question, leave it in the comments below. Go and watch this video. This is the last thing I'm gonna leave you with. I think most of the people who are watching probably have watched it. I think you guys have already watched it because we watched it together right now. But in the first days where it makes the video, I love this video. The first 24 hours will decide if this video gets suggested in other videos. This is why it's important to push it out to people. 10 hours, 24,000 views. It's a little bit under the average because the algorithm is down. It's not being suggested to people. It's interesting, the numbers games, right? I'm very appreciative for having everything, but the Japanese candy making artist one, it was really so slow. It never broke out, and it has 105,000 views, which is good, but it's only 10%, like not 12% of the subscriber base. This one is a Tokyo Street Food Market one, did better, and it has 30% of the subscriber base. This one has like 3% or something. So yeah, I'd like to get that number up. So watch it, leave a comment below, share it. I really do appreciate the support. Skip the ads, you don't have to watch it. But I gotta pay the bill somehow. So 25,000 views, that's not bad. 2,000 likes, I think we can get that to 2,000 likes. It's at 1.9 thousand. I appreciate it. Leave a comment below. I will answer it. And have a good day, everybody. Thanks for joining me. I'll do another live stream tomorrow in Ueno. We're going to be in Ueno. Okapi is hidden. Okapi is right there. He has the Canadian Mountie on him. So that's I appreciate it. These are all gifts from supporters, from meetups and such. I put them in the shrine back there. Have a good day, everybody. Have a good night. Thanks for the support, and see you on the other side of tomorrow.